Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Lucid 9. So we were just leaving Mr. Ryota's office. I exit Mr. Ryota's office in a considerably better mood than when I had entered it. I actually don't feel tired. I feel rejuvenated. Seems like those memories have been weighing on me for a long time. Maybe therapy really will be beneficial. It's really just because you have a bad attitude, so I'm not really sure why it's exactly therapy. It's a little weird. You have a bad attitude, go talk to your counselor and, I guess, if it helps your bad attitude. Anyway, deciding to take his prescription to heart, I head straight to the downtown shopping area. With my mind cleared, I get to pay a little more attention to the weather. Beautiful cloudless skies, the slightest hint of a cool breeze. You? A girl careens from around the corner and nearly crashes right into me. Her glasses flash dangerously. She tips her newsboy cap over her forehead, studying me with an intensity that could rival an electronic microscope. Me? It's all I can manage to say at the eccentric sight. Yes, you! An idyllic, unlettered civilian. Perfect! A hint of satisfied smile tugs at her lips. For what must be the 100th time today, I feel a keen sense of impending doom. Respond to my questions with either yes or no. Do not deviate, do not invent, and for the sake of both our sanities, do not dawdle. First, am I correct in assuming you are an academy student? You must have the wrong person. I've never seen you before. How can you judge the purpose behind this encounter without knowing the criteria I have set in my approach? I am not mistaken. You are my target. It doesn't take a genius to sense that this girl means trouble. I decide to conveniently ignore her and step around her. She only steps with me, blocking my path. Again. Oh, great. I can sense where this is going. As I envisaged, subject demonstrates a remarkable inability to utilize basic cognitive functions. Talk about uncalled for. Abusive words, overly complicated language. She clearly has a few screws loose. Maybe I should call the hospital, see if they have a runaway mental patient. But she's not wearing hospital clothes. Look, kid, I don't know what your problem is, but kid! The pleasantly cool air suddenly develops a rather harsh chill. She must be one of those phases. Just another 14-year-old expecting to be treated with the dignity of a grandmother. Albeit a 14-year-old who apparently memorized the dictionary. Well, whatever you are, generally speaking, it's pretty rude to just run up to some random stranger and insult them. Truly, your idiocy has risen to a level beyond which I had previously surmised. She immediately digs into her pocket and flashes something in front of my face. Shigori Inamoto, freelance detective. Legally certified to inspect crime scenes, obtain private files, and if necessary, interrogate unduly inquisitive citizens with the observational finesse of a blind bat. And you shall note that I am 26 years of age. Wait. What? You're 26? Unless you presume to imply that you are deaf as well as dumb, I suggest... But you're so short! I practically feel ice crystals forming in the air. Well, I should strongly prefer to be short of stature than short of cerebral matter, as seems to be your tendency. Ouch. Not a bad blow. But wait. If you're a freelance detective, does that mean this is an interrogation? And I'm a suspect? If I have to go to the police station, do I get excused absences from class? I see no need to reverse your expectation that you will be taking the unexpected absences as they are. Consider it an inevitability similar to your clinical depression. That stops me. What? How could she possibly... What would even make her think something like that? You might as well carry a sign. From your uniform, you're a student at the academy. From the fact that you're wearing it, you attended school this morning. From your presence in town rather than in class, you are, as I believe they call it, playing hooky? From that prescription slip, you are enrolled in the recently developed therapy method that the Academy has been boasting. From your fairly normal physicality and social skills, your problem is most likely clinical depression, or something like high-functioning autism. Okay, I get it, you're a detective. And you're impressed, but pretending not to be. It is pretty impressive. The observations themselves might seem like common sense, but a person who can actually synthesize them is a rare find. Which, of course, kind of just makes her even more annoying. I relax a little, oddly relieved that she had actually secretly researched me. Now it is your turn. My turn? Of course, what can you see from my physical presentation? I invite you to give your brain some much-needed exercise. That gets close to firing me up. Close. Sorry, but I have my therapist's instructions to follow. Unless you have any actual business with me, I'd appreciate it if you left me alone. I step her around her again. This time she doesn't move. But just as I think that I'm home free, I hear a soft whisper drifting from behind me. Do you not wish to play a bigger role in society than an inconsequential pawn in this game of life? Or will you restrict yourself to the confines of your own abilities, just because of her? I quietly stop. Turn around slowly. Tell me how you know that. Right now. I shall after you prove yourself mentally capable of comprehending the simplest of my explanations. Fine, she wants to play it that way? Let her play it that way. Time to focus. I'll start with her clothes. Unlike the standard professional wear I might expect of a law enforcement agent, she dressed comfortably. Probably can do that because she's a freelance detective. They also haven't been ironed in a while, which means either she doesn't care or she's a workaholic. Possibly a combination of both. Her shirt proclaims king. Conscious or unconscious association to her egotism? I can't tell much, but I find it strange that she dressed so casually and expect people to take her seriously. With her height and her clothes, is it any wonder that she's often mistaken for a kid? And one more thing bothers me. She wears comfortable-looking clothes, which I previously assumed were for efficiency. After all, chasing down criminals in high heels is a stupid idea. And yet something stands out. Alright, we'll go hat and jeans? I don't know. Right, hats are a pain to run with, because unless you keep one hand on them at all times, they're likely to flop around, fall off, or just generally be obnoxious. And the jeans are too tight to opt for flexibility. Running in those would either be very uncomfortable or very, very embarrassing. Which implies that she just dresses how she wants to? Definitely a very headstrong individual. If she doesn't choose casual clothes for comfort, knowing that it can interfere with her job, then is she purposely choosing it to aggravate others? To announce her individualism? It would match with her choosing to be a freelance detective instead of a corporate investigator. Free-spirited, rebellious, and, as I suspect from how she's shamelessly pulling me aside for no reason, guided more by her heart than her head despite her intellect. Not bad. Next I should think about body language. She spreads her weight evenly on both feet, unlike most girls, who let it lie more on one side of their hip than the other. Even weight on both feet almost sounds like I don't know. She seems relaxed, but with that bright-eyed look of someone expecting danger around every corner. Kind of weight distribution doesn't seem to come naturally. Maybe she was in sports, or maybe self-defense at one point. For a while, from the looks of it. I'd like to guess martial arts, but I can't say for sure. There are too many possibilities. Okay then, maybe I should think about this a different way. Her movements are very crisp and close to the body. When she's speaking, she doesn't gesture very much, even when yelling. Generally speaking, sports emphasize emoting on a huge scale. Roaring in victory, bawling in defeat, the works. Not only that, but limbs are trained more for gross motor skills than fine motor skills. On the contrary, Shigori has very tight control over her hands, almost to the point where she seems stiff. Which likely points to something high control, like ballet or archery, or a more subtle martial art like Wing Chun. Well, that still didn't narrow things down too much. Time to move on. I've noticed that when Shigori moves, she primarily tends to use her... That's her right hand, so... Her left hand is generally stagnant, while her right hand often takes the most action, adjusting her glasses or tapping against her hip. Probably safe to assume that she's right-handed. So she used to be involved in a high-control form of physical exercise, and she's right-handed. Is that all I can get from her body language? Well, she doesn't wear any noticeable makeup, she dresses like a kid, and she wears glasses instead of contacts, just calling more attention to her pathetic stature. Wait a minute. When I put it that way, it almost sounds like she wants to be underestimated. Has a mental disability. That's hilarious. I don't know what happens when you choose different things, you know what I mean? I don't remember what I chose the last time, but... Even though she pretends to be indignant about being mistaken for a kid, it looks like that's her intent. Even though she's a freelance detective, she doesn't wear her badge anywhere, or carry a gun, or anything, really. She probably believes that being underestimated is a valuable skill. Can't say I personally agree, but hey, she's the 26-year-old freelance detective, not me. Why here? Why now? Why me? These are all questions I need to address. A detective's approached me and bombarded me with questions, but I see no other policeman. Is she doing this just because she's bored? No, she was specifically looking for an academy student for some reason. Coming up short in this area. I'll have to think about this later. I take a step back and look at the full picture. No, this isn't it. Not quite. It's good information, but it's basic. Nothing stands out. I can't actually use any of this. Time to think a little deeper. Is there anything that can help me? Anything at all? Something I've missed. Enomoto speaking. Yes. If you cannot resolve such an appallingly simple task on your own means, I shall consider your intellect no different than that of a headless chicken's. Good day. Now, you may want to hasten your efforts before the ground upon which we stand becomes our gravestones. Yeah, I'm on it. I say this distractedly, primarily because I noticed she has a flip phone. Ancient technology by today's standards. Buttons, 2-inch screen, primitive camera, the works. Not just that, but it's a terrible looking flip phone. The kind of decor that you'd see on prepubescent phones. Rhinestones, heart stickers, even the random scrawl from a Sharpie that was too faded in the metal for me to read. It's completely unlike her, which means that it's a wealth of information. While on a call, she so graciously turned the phone in my direction, allowing me to catch a glance of her wallpaper. Shock, it was a picture at least a few years old of a guy hugging her. Double shock, she was proudly showing off a ring. Not a cheap cutesy-colored ring like the couple bands of new relationship in its second week. A legitimate diamond ring. An engagement ring. But she's not wearing the ring anymore. Even looking at her hands at this moment, I can't even tell that she'd ever worn one. Which means that she once had a fiancé and he broke up with her. And he did it recently, right? Or wait, no, that doesn't seem right. Why doesn't it seem right? Ah, of course. If the engagement had ended recently, I'd see a tan around her finger. Or maybe an indent. Oh. Instead, there's nothing. Which means the fiancé called off the engagement a while ago. She obviously didn't call it off. No, if she's keeping that picture on her phone, in fact, maybe they broke it off amicably if she hasn't deleted it yet. Either that or she's a stalker. Alright, that's much more like it. I think I'm ready. I square my shoulders and look her in the eye. Sorry about the wedding. Hello? What wedding? Is she serious? How can I possibly word this delicately? Yours, the one that your fiancé called off a few years ago. Did he? Didn't he? Unless she does have a wedding ring and she just doesn't wear it. Is it in your pocket or something? You might seek to articulate yourself better. Is what in my pocket? Your wedding ring. Why would I have a wedding ring in my pocket? If your fiancé didn't call off the wedding, then... Wait. No, there's one more possibility. And since she's in law enforcement, it wouldn't be unlikely. I immediately shut up as the realization dawns on me. I see you have realized. Yeah, he never called off the wedding. Because he died. I suddenly feel very, very callous. I'm sorry. Silence. Say nothing that you do not mean. Unless you are manipulating others to extract information, as that is an occupational hazard. Right. Even as she continues on, I mentally hit myself for my error. I shall admit, civilian, that you have done adequately. Train your senses consistently, and you might become moderately useful in the future. Thanks. Really, I'm overwhelmed. But I ask of you this. What is the meaning when a freelance detective approaches a student and asks a string of seemingly unrelated questions of him? You're testing my intelligence for some reason. Or you're actually a marketing intern trying to conduct some bizarre survey. I wouldn't know. Shigori fixes me with an unfathomable stare. The only sign of her emotion on her face are her eyebrows, which are almost raised to her hairline. What is your name? Sorry? Your name. This has nothing to do with the case, but if I protest, she'll probably smack me with more verbal abuse. Yama Ishimoto. What is she thinking of? Her decision is preferable to her silence. I postulate that you possess anonymity of free time. Anonymity of free time? What is your assessment regarding a coagulant métier? Métier? Whatever. Coadjutant. Oh my good lord, girl. What is with the fucking words? Da fuck? Who even uses those kind of words? For real? Like, I don't even know what the hell they mean. Are you asking me to be your assistant? Servant, not assistant. Putting me and job in the same sentence is never a good idea. I barely have enough diligence to hand out stuff in class when I'm called by the teacher. How much worse would my punishment be if I worked with a woman, this crazy? Not detention, I'd assume. Yet. Examining pieces of a puzzle, putting them together, framing the whole story was fun. Logic, ingenuity, resourcefulness? And almost nothing is fun to me, which makes it doubly interesting. Sure, why not? Good, I will require your contact information, then be off. I take a moment to process it. That's it? Wait, how do you know? Know what? You told me earlier about her. Tense moment ticks by as Shigori stares evenly at me. Pure conjecture. You can't be serious. She did not appear to notice that my wording was. You did not appear to notice that my wording was intentionally vague. What? But you said. Do you not wish to play a bigger role in society than inconsequential pawn in the game of life? Or will you restrict yourself to the confines of your own abilities, just because of her? Oh, classic bait for confirmation bias. Appeal to a person's general desire for significance, allude to just one person for some added resonance. All she would have to guess is the gender. 50% chance of striking a chord in her victim. She probably guessed a girl for my personality. I'm not exactly the type to easily befriend guys. A bait. Just a bait. I see you understand. She pushes the phone into my motionless hand. I have registered my cellular number. Tomorrow you will receive a text regarding your next assignment. Keep your evenings free. With that, she simply tips her hat, whirls around, and strides off. A bait? Was it really just a bait? Or is that also a bait? A lie to make me feel better, even though she actually knows. I love how Yama's all confused. So, I am going to wrap this part up here. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.